Welcome people, it's me OGDuffy and we've got another Versus video for you. Now before we get into it this week, it's a great title, it's a superb title. But before we get into it, just to let you know, I've been doing lots of game hunting stuff lately, so all of them videos are coming up. So do keep your eyes peeled on the channel because I'm going to be doing, getting them done, editing them and getting them ready for you guys to watch. So I've been doing some nice game hunting videos lately and got lots of things coming up, so do keep your eyes peeled. So instead of the one weekly drop, I am sort of dropping the odd video now during the early end of the week. But let's get to it now. This here is Shinobi. What a game by Sega. This was recommended by Alcon L. Hackney. He's given me some great suggestions. Have you got any other suggestions that I've already covered? Do drop them in the comments as always, folks. And let me know what you'd like to see me do versus videos of. Now, before we get into it as well, equally hit that subscribe button because I really appreciate it, okay? But listen, if your system does not win, then please don't be hating on the video and don't think I'm anti your system, because I'm not. I simply call it as I see it, and it's purely my opinion, alright? And if you don't agree with me, do let me know in the comments, because quite often in these videos you guys don't agree with my verdicts, but you let me know why in the comments, and it's fair, and you share all your great knowledge of the stuff. So keep doing what you do, okay? And remember, it's only my opinion. I generally try and go on gameplay above all else. But sometimes I might get it wrong. I might get it right. That's my opinion. Anyway, let's get to it. Shinobi was released in the arcades in 1987 by Sega. We all know Sega. They were just masters of the art back then of the arcade releases. So we're going to be looking, as always, firstly at the arcade version. Okay, because we always do, because we like to see what we're comparing to. Then we're going to be looking at the 8-bit systems, the usual suspects as I like to call them, the Amstrad, the Commodore 64 and the ZX Spectrum. And after that, we will be looking at the 16-bit systems of the day, the Atari ST and the Commodore Amiga. And then we will look at some console versions. And the console versions we're going to be looking at are the Nintendo NES, the Sega Master System, and of course the PC Engine again. And equally, right at the end, as a little bit of a bonus, this game was never released in the original Shinobi form on the Sega Mega Drive, but a demo did drop online a while ago, and I've got some footage of that to show you, so we could see what it would have looked like if it had been released on the Sega Mega Drive. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. The classic Shinobi. This is the arcade version. Let's go.
Mission 1.
So as always, we're going to be taking a look at the arcade version, which is what we always do. Now, generally, for all of these clips we're going to see today, I'm going to show you sort of similar style gameplay for all of the clips. So it'll be the this level generally. We won't be showing any of the bonus levels that come with this game. So for those that don't know Shinobi, this is it here. It was a side-scrolling hack and slash type game released by Sega on the arcade in 1987. Basic controls, sort of jump, throw in your shuriken stars, which could be upgraded to sort of a machine gun with bullets and stuff, which was a good little upgrade to have. And you also had ninja magic, which was your special attack move that you could use on the game. Bit of trivia coming up as well in relation to the that little Spider-Man type fella hanging off the wall there, but we'll come to that shortly. This is the end of level 1 boss. In total, there was quite a few levels to this, 5 missions, and all had varying stages and bonus rounds in between, which were very well received. So that's the arcade version of Shinobi. Let's go take a look first on the 8-bit systems now. Here we have the Commodore 64. Now, as you can hear, the very first thing here, this was sound effects only on the C64, which surprised me because, as we all know, and I always go on about it, how great the SID chip was on the C64. But beginning to realise making these videos, they don't always make best use of it for the music that we all know it's so very capable of. As you can see though, this version played very well. It was colourful and blocky in a Commodore 64 kind of graphic way, which we're all familiar with now. Scrolled nicely. And it was overall a very good version. With this as well, when it comes to leaping between level 1 and 2, that high jump thing, worked quite well. You could see the upper levels as well that you would jump into, which, as we'll come to see, was not the case on all versions. There's Marilyn Monroe there, looking rather pretty as normal, and the end of level boss. And that concludes really the Commodore 64 version. Next up, we're going to take a look at another 8-bit system, and we're going to be doing next the Amstrad version. Let's see how that compares. Okay, Amstrad version here. Very colourful. When I first started playing this, I thought, oh, I'm not too keen on the graphics. But you know what? They grew on me. And the gameplay for this, it played really well. It was good. It was fast. Bright. Good sprites. You know, as I say, you soon got used to them. So, very impressed with this conversion to the Amstrad. As I've said in previous videos, I was never a huge Amstrad fan back in the day. But it's a system that has grown on me, I think, during making these videos, because I'm touching on a lot of the games that I didn't back in the day, and it's quite a good system, generally. I mean, it has had its flaws, as witnessed in other videos that I've done, versus videos, where it's not been so good. But on this occasion, it did very, very well. So, all in all, pretty good. There's Marilyn there. For some reason, I don't know, on this version, they decided to put the word Marilyn on the poster. Don't know the idea behind that, but hey, you know, it's there anyway. So, played well, scrolled nicely, end of level boss here. It took a while to defeat this one. But, all in all, a very good effort. Now remember what I said right at the beginning of this video. Do stick around, because right at the end we'll be looking at the Sega Mega Drive or Genesis version if you're from North America, that was never officially released, but demos have surfaced online. So we'll be taking a look at that, and we'll see what we missed, what could have been, so to speak. But that concludes the Amstrad version. Next up, we're going to take a look at the humble ZX Spectrum. Here we go, the ZX Spectrum, making its way along. Now, the first thing you notice with this version, this is the 128K version, okay, is that music. The music was really well done on this. It was a great job. If you were playing it on the 48K, it lacked the music, just had the occasional sound effect. As well, something that bugged me with this was the jumping up between each level. It just seemed quite jolty, and it seemed to take a very long time. And the other side of the coin is, you can't see the upper level, and you can't see the lower level when you're on the upper level, if that makes sense. So, it lacked something there for me. Wasn't too bad. I mean, the graphics weren't too bad. I mean, some of the enemies seemed to have flat heads and half a head missing. I don't know what that was all about, but hey, that's what it was. As you can see, Marilyn Monroe there, looking very sharp. So it's a nice comparison between all these systems. And there's the old Spider-Man coming off the wall. He's soon dispelled. And of course, the end of level boss. So that concludes the 8-bit systems. Which was your favourite? Let me know in the comments. Which one did you own? Which one do you remember playing? Let me know in the comments. Next up, 16-bit systems. So the Commodore Amiga, this was it. I'll be absolutely honest, I'd never played these back in the day, but I played this and obviously the Atari ST version. Now, as you'll see very shortly, there was not a lot between either of these, very little indeed. And personally, I don't think the conversions were that great on either system. So to come to a conclusion for these in my, obviously, at the end, my conclusion, so to speak, it was a hard one, okay? Best thing about it, I mean, look at Marilyn. Did a great job on old Marilyn Monroe there, and even put her name on there in case you didn't recognise who it was. Music and sound was good, but the gameplay was just lacking for me. It just was nowhere near, I don't know, I was expecting better from the 16-bit systems, if I'm being absolutely honest. to the Atari ST, as I was saying, personally think both of these conversions were very lackluster. I mean, they could have done a lot better. I mean, as well, remember back in the day, you used to have to pay quite a bit more for an ST game and an Amiga game over the 8-bit versions. They charged quite a considerable amount more, so you'd expect better. I mean, sound-wise, okay, but both of these versions really did lack something, so it's going to be quite a hard call, but I've got to choose one, and I will, in my bit at the end, I will let you know which one I choose. But personally, if I never had to play either of these versions again, then I'd probably be happy with that. But anyway, do let me know. Maybe you disagree with me on this. Did you own it? You got good memories of it? Let's be honest, you know, back then we all loved our certain games. What did you think? Now we're getting into our console versions. First up is the Sega Master System. Now this was very good. It played really well. I felt the graphics, the sprites, were a bit on the small side, but that aside, it played brilliantly, and it stuck well to the arcade. Now the slight difference to this was, rather on the arcade where if that sword, for example, hit you, you would then be killed. With this, they gave you a life bar instead, so you could take several hits before being killed, so to speak. So it made it slightly easier, but that was in a good way. I mean, it was a home console, so I don't think that's a bad thing to do. But what do you think? You agree with that? Let me know. But anyway, that's the Sega Master System. I was very impressed with this. It played very nicely indeed. So well done, Master System. And now for the Nintendo Entertainment System, or the NES as we like to call it. This was an unlicensed release, okay. I think it was Tengen released this. Could be wrong, I'm sure someone will correct me if I am. The only problem with this as well was if you threw a shuriken or shot a bullet from your gun, you could only fire one at a time. Whilst on the Master System you could sling multiple, which made the play slightly better. Overall, they weren't too bad, you know. I mean, it had its issues. The controls were a bit unresponsive. It wasn't the best controls compared to the Sega Master System. So a bit of trivia here. These guys that leapt off the wall that we've seen on all versions. Apparently, due to the colour on some versions, he resembled Spider-Man far too much. So due to licensing, when this got released later on Wii and Xbox 360, it was emulated to them systems, they had to change the colour schemes of that little fella, because he looked like Spider-Man too much, and certain people didn't like it. This is the PC Engine. As you know, I've got a lot of love for this little system. I think it's a great console. Graphically, sound, this was just awesome, wasn't it? I mean, look at it. It's by far the best version to look at, right? And it played very well also. But this was a Japanese-only release, alright? So it wasn't available to the Western market, unless, of course, you got it on import. But it lacked something, and I'll tell you what it was lacking. It was very difficult. The levels were very hard, okay? So it was difficult alongside with the arcade. So true to form in that manner. But there was no bonus rounds. All the bonus rounds that come between the end of level bosses and stuff were all missing. So what was going on there, PC Engine? So what a great game, an absolutely awesome game. And again, thank you, L. Hackney, for another great suggestion here. But, as always, it's time for my verdict, so let's get to it, okay? So I'm going to do the 8-bits first. Right, there was the ZX Spectrum version, alright? This is in third position, and it's not because I hate the Spectrum. No, I do not. I simply say what I see and play. And when I'm playing them, I choose what was the most playable version that week for me. Now, for those that think I hate the Spectrum, I do not. Let's be honest, look at my past videos, as you can see here. These videos, Spectrum has won them ones, okay? So, you know, I'm not a Spectrum hater at all. But it comes third this time, alright? And in second position, although this is very close between both these systems, I gave it to the Commodore 64. A brilliant game, superb. But, hey, you know, someone has to be second. And first position, of course, then goes to the Amstrad CPC. Amstrad did a very good version of this. It's very well respected in the Amstrad world by a lot of the followers of this system, and I can see why. It played really, really well. So that concludes the 8-bit verdict. So well done, Amstrad, this week. So my 16-bit verdict. This was a tough call, and I'll tell you why it was tough, because they were both pretty poor conversions, in my opinion. Okay, pretty poor. But I have to pick a winner, and the winner I'm going for is the Atari ST version, only because the graphics was slightly sharper on the version I was playing and stuff, and it just played a little bit better. Okay. But both very poor, so unfortunately, Amiga, you are runner-up this week, and Atari ST takes it. And now, for the consoles. Wow, we were spoilt here, weren't we? These were great conversions. Brilliant jobs. So, third position for the three systems we looked at of the consoles goes to the Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES. Unfortunately, wasn't as good as the other two, nowhere near actually. It was alright, it was nothing special, but in second position and in first position, jointly, right, PC Engine and Sega Master System both take joint first position. And I'll tell you why, okay? A lot of people are probably out there saying, well, the PC Engine looked so much better, the sound was brilliant and everything else. And yes, you'd be right. It looked far superior, but the bonus levels were missing, and there was bits missing in between. So if I look at the original arcade game and then I look at the conversions, like I say, I always try to choose it on gameplay, and all the bonus levels and everything else were missing on the PC Engine. So I think it's only fair, because the Sega Master System was a good conversion, if be it the sprites all a bit small, but they had that complete game in there. So for me, I made it a draw. But brilliant PC Engine. Imagine if the PC Engine had the bonus levels as well. It would have just, it would have waltzed this competition. But it wasn't to be. So well done, Sega Master System and PC Engine, joint winners. And as I said right at the beginning of this video, we've got a little bonus footage here for you. Okay, this is something I stumbled across when researching for this video. So, before we show you that, don't forget, subscribe please, because it makes me day, makes me a happy man, and comment. Let me know your thoughts. Do you agree, do you disagree with my verdicts, and if so, why, as always, you know? So like I say, I'm not always right, but I ain't always wrong either. Hey, but anyway, so let's get to it, right? The bonus footage here, Sega Mega Drive. Here we go, I'm going to show you level 1. This is a demo that's been released. It was found online, never got released on the Mega Drive, but let's take a look.
Mission 1. Mission 1. Finish. Welcome to bonus day.
So as you can see, the Mega Drive version would have been absolutely amazing. Wow, that would have helped shift some units, I'm guessing. Quite why it never got released or finished or complete, I really don't know. But you guys know pretty much everything when it comes to retro video gaming. So I know someone out there will know the backstory to this on the Mega Drive, why it never come to fruition or whatever, okay? So please, as always, let me know in the comments. Now, thank you for watching, folks. Do stay tuned to the channel because I've got lots coming up with pickup videos and all that sort of stuff. And it's been great you watching me again, as always. And I can't thank you enough for supporting me and the channel, okay? So, stay safe, look after yourselves, have a beer if you can, and stay chilled. Cheers. If you watched the video and you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe for more great videos. Thanks for watching.